Spartan Nation, what's going on? This is Ken, the super cool Spartan from Q the Woodshed. My brother Brian, the super mad Spartan. He was very, very mad this past weekend coming out of the bye week. Going up
I
against
wasn't that mad.
Illinois.
I feel like I accepted it for what it was and what it is.
Right. Our other co-host, Quafo, the super connected Spartan, couldn't join us today. He's out doing super connected Spartan things. So we hold down the fort once again. There's the two of us, the Williams brothers. So he'll be on for the next podcast. So shout out to our super connected Spartan. So
Went on Quapo.
let's go. What's going on? Okay. So hell, let's just get into it. Our initial thoughts.
You got to hand it to us again. It just kind of disappointing after the bye week. We had a little bit of hope because after the previous bye week, we came out of Iowa with like a whole different team. This time, we kind of looked like the same team, unless a version of it. And once you find out that you're starting safety and cornerback are done probably for the rest of the season, if you find out after the game, it's another big blow to the secondary that we thought we had depth, and now we're on our fourth, fifth, and sixth string players. You're starting true freshmen at certain positions. So Illinois had enough wherewithal on their offense to just, all right, well, we're going to attack the weakness, the new guys, and they did. And for the most of the game, the defense is getting shredded. But there are moments. The defense rose up, did their jobs, and got them off the field, created some nice momentum for the team, and then the offense couldn't get us there. We're like the almost team. We're in the red zone. We almost have a touchdown. But no, we have something that happens. This game was sacks. The offensive line was not good. And Aiden Childs did a really good job of getting what he could. And I think we see a lot of growth from him this season. Those are my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you regarding Aiden. And that was one of the things that I have down for a good Sparty in regards to him. So I'll get to that later. But yeah, my initial thoughts similar to yours. It was just one of those games. It was another disappointing performance on the field. Started out, with the exception of Aiden fumbling the ball and that, the Illinois taking it to the house. Luckily, he was down. But since then, overall, in regards to turnovers, I don't think there are any turnovers. Maybe one at the most, but I don't think there are any turnovers.
Just turnover on downs.
But other than that, yeah, it was just one of those games that, it was a microcosm of the whole season where things start out kind of good, and then next thing you know, as the game progresses, it's just a downward slope of badness, and it was just to the point that the dam broke and had another loss. And I know we were talking pretty much doing a group chat over the weekend. It was just one of those games where you just had it on the background as the game progressed, because
you already could see what's going to happen.
What was going to happen. So
you know what? I'm sorry to cut you off. We've seen this game so many times in the last 4 years. It just felt like the same thing. Like, it's just like, okay,
yeah,
I don't know how this is going to go. I'm just going to keep it on. They might make a comeback, and I pay attention if they do, but pretty much we're going to get dominated the rest of the game. They're going to fight back a little bit. We're going to get a little bit of hope, and then it's going to come crashing down. And that was pretty much how it went.
Yeah. That's how it was. It was starting out high, then boom, and that was it. So here we are sitting at 4-6, and backs against the wall. Got to win these 2 games left to get a bowl game, and
that Boston College game hurts so much now. Just such a winnable game.
Yeah.
It's so very winnable. And
Yeah,
I
and
feel
what's
much better
interesting,
going into. I would feel much better going into these last two games. Like I can know we can win one of these two. Can we win both? I don't know.
right? Yeah,
We'll talk about this. It remains to be seen. It's not a layup by any means.
yeah. And what's so interesting about Boston College at this point in the season, they benched their QB that we played against.
Really?
Yeah, he got benched. Yeah, Nick
That's interesting.
Castellanos or whatever his name is, he got benched for the backup QB, and I don't even know if the starter is even on the team anymore. It was just one of those things that I saw on the ESPN Sports ticker about him.
Wow. I didn't
So
even know that.
yeah, so but
Hurts even more.
right,
But let's live in the present. Another L.
right, right. Another L, and we'll
Another
just
L to
roll
the Illini.
it.
Even though we've been beaten, you beat them last season, 2 seasons ago. But yeah, this
Yeah,
sucks.
MSU has a winning record against Illinois, especially at their home stadium.
Yeah, last time
So
I
that
saw
was
that,
that
I
was
think it
the
was
one thing to saw.
2016. That
Yeah,
was and that's last time they beat us, and that was our 3-9 season with Antonio.
yeah, yeah. So let's just keep this train moving, broski. Good Sparty. I'm sorry, good Sparty, bad Sparty. Do. Good Sparty, bad Sparty. We just kick it up with the bad like we've been doing all season. There's more bad than good.
I think the biggest takeaway from this game was that our lines just simply aren't good enough. More so the offensive line than defensive line,
Right.
and that might sound harsh. And I'll say this about the defensive line and clean it up. I think they're very solid. A bunch of solid football players amongst defensive lines, and we don't have a somebody who's going to make like a difference maker. Like, hey, we need this guy on third down to get that sack. We haven't had it all season. So we do a decent enough job stopping the run most of the time, but getting to the quarterback, that's what's been killing the defense. Because the back seven has been mostly good when they were healthy, but
Mm-hmm.
that defensive line, they just can't get to the quarterback, and that hurts. They're solid, but they just okay. You have to be able to rush the quarterback because you saw in the second half once they started blitzing and putting just a smidge of pressure on Illinois' QB as it was Altmaier.
Yeah.
He was a little rattled. He was a little throwing the ball a little jumpy because they got defense got the field a few times, put a little game pressure on them. But overall, and then to go back to the offensive line, just not good. It's not good enough.
Yeah,
You
it seems
know,
like they regressed in this game.
it's maybe not so regressed in terms of just like people know what they're going to do now. They got enough tape on this group to say, hey, they can't handle these things very well, so we're just going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought the pass blocking was pretty good in the beginning of the year. It's coming way down now. Child is under duress a lot of the time,
Yeah, he
and
is.
and there's too many times we hand the ball off and it's a tackle for a loss. And if you can't run the ball, you have to ask Childs to do way, way, way too much, which they already do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the lines. It's this bad Sparty. With the caveat of the defensive line is not bad. It's just we need a little bit more from them.
Yeah, they do. I think they said during the game that MSU hasn't had a QB sack. Well, I guess now including this game for like the
None in Big
past
Ten
like
play.
7 games. I didn't
They
even
almost
realize
had one
that
this game,
until
but then
the
the guy got away. Like it's just been not good at all.
no, it hasn't. It hasn't. And the reason I said it looked like the O-line regressed is because of the way that Childs was under duress this whole game. I guess my assumption was that them, excuse me, I'm sorry. My assumption is that them coming out of this second bye week, that they would have worked on some things to clean up like they did coming into the Iowa game.
What also I mean, just
not
to play devil's advocate, there's being this, what I never would counterpoint. Illinois came off a bye week as well, and
yes,
so
that
they
is
had
true.
time to revamp some things themselves. So it's not like it was a closer game in the second half than the first half.
Right.
We played much better second half, but we already have dug ourselves a pretty big hole that this team can, at this moment, is not capable of digging out a 2-score lead hole and winning the game. They've tried to do it a few times and just come up short. It just don't have it. We don't have the red zone efficiency yet.
Yeah, and that's another bad Sparty too. And again, they point. It seemed like the commentators of this game just pointed out all the bad Sparty stuff that we're going to be talking about. Is how MSU, I think, is like dead last in scoring, specifically in the second half, and that's something I realized. So they pointed out, I'm like, wow, like, and I mean, it showed evidence. I think we only scored maybe one touchdown the entire second half.
Probably
maybe a touchdown and a field goal.
Maybe the last time we scored, do we score in the fourth quarter versus Michigan? That might be the last touchdown we scored.
Yeah, we did, and that was with like 4 or 5 minutes left in that game.
Man,
since that time,
just been taking L's ever since.
Been getting blown out.
Every last 2 games, L. It's just a favorite letter. And there are reasons why, and we'll get to the good Sparty. I just want to put it out there that I don't want to bang on a team like, oh, they're so bad and they're trash. No, I don't think that. I think we've come to the point in the season where we had a team that needed injury luck just to go 7-5, 8-4 in our wildest dreams. We got none of that. We got the injury bug, and it bit us pretty deep. And the team doesn't have the depth right now. And so you're seeing it this point in the year. And it's really hurting. It's like I said, Howdy, what can you do with your 4th and 5th string safety? I understand they're on scholarship, but I understand where they're at. These are relatively new young men to college football.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's near the end of the season, but they're still young. They haven't had the experience of some of the guys that are out. How do you replace Brantley? Brantley is having a great season.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be playing on Sundays.
For sure.
Yeah, he'll be playing on Sundays.
At this point, okay, that's our biggest weakness. No pass rush, new people in the secondary. Teams that can throw are going to, any team that the remaining 2 games, they're going to come at us at those points. And the defense, you can't expect them to get many stops just where they're at. It's going to be a lot of bending and pray we don't break it. Yeah, and so the offense is going to have to carry the squad. It's like, offensive line is not capable at this moment of doing that. It's prohibitive.
Right.
Offense cannot function with our offensive line is going to play like that, and that's just the truth of it. Now we'll see what the coaches whip up for next season. I know that we have some guys that are going to be there next year. We have some young guys in the program. We're going to have to sprinkle some whatever O-line dust that we can muster up and hopefully have a decent O-line next year. Maybe get some people through the portal, which is hard to get. So there's reasons why. And I know we'll get there later on about some of the other things on our bad Sparty list.
One other thing I'm going to add to the bad Sparty list is that 4th and 34 play. Pretty much.
What play is there to call?
End the game. And that was my question. I didn't understand why they decided to go for it in 4th and 34. Like, what?
At that point in the game, what else are you going to do? That's your last ditch effort. Maybe you get a penalty. Maybe someone grabs child's face back. There's other things that could happen that could get you a first down. So I don't think it doesn't matter. The game was basically over. If they don't get that 4th down anyway, it's over.
Trying to play basketball.
It's still baffling to me because, like you said, what do you do on 4th and 34? Like, I thought that they're going, and maybe the plan maybe was maybe the play wasn't just bomb the ball down the field,
That's
which
a good
that had
plan. It
happened
just
because
he couldn't get
I think
he
he got
dropped back.
sacked.
Yes, he dropped back, took 3 steps, and there are people in his face, and he couldn't get away.
So it went from 4th and 34 to 4th and 47.
His turnover on downs, and they put the ball down our throats for another touchdown.
Yeah, I just thought that was baffling, but I mean, I get it.
Come on, what are they supposed to do? There's no good play for that. Are they gonna punt? If they punt it, that's like, what will you give up?
I probably would have punted.
Lose
4th
mentality.
and 34. 4th and 34. Okay. But anyway, let's talk about some good Sparty, because I think we bashed on the bad, because there was definitely more bad. You know, there were some key penalties.
When you get blown out, like it just is what it's not too much good to take from it. But there were good things. Yes, there is growth, and there's been growth in all of our losses this year. Most of them.
Yep. It didn't look good. I mean, in terms of he didn't throw any interceptions. It looked like, you know, when he was under duress, when he wasn't getting sacked, he threw the ball away. He didn't have any negative plays. It was just unfortunate that he didn't have the blocking to protect him in the O-line, but he didn't have any unforced errors in this game. And
no, he didn't have too many bad passes or anything. Just
right.
What can you like? He's not Superman. We need him to be, but he's not. And he's really good though. And I think this gets lost in some of the other nuances of the game. Like, he's really good.
Right.
We have really good receivers. I'm not saying we're at Ohio State or any of the top, but they're good. It's people we can win with.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the kid Johnson, who scored the first touchdown.
Isaiah Johnson, yes.
Isaiah Johnson, he's good. We know about Nick Marsh.
For sure. They talked about Nick Marsh like, he's our number one receiver. Like, that's the guy. Like, well, I guess he kind of is. It is to the point where they kept pointing out so much in the first half. In the second half, they go into Montoya Force. Like, Montoya Force is having a great year too. Like, let's not forget about him.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of those guys, they made plays, just wasn't enough.
Yeah. And again, it's hard to make good plays. You don't have the O-line to block. So
that's what the game is won and lost. We know this. We've been fighting tooth and nail, complaining about offensive line for years. Defensive line, not so much, but when Mel Tucker, they just left the cupboard not extremely bare. That's not fair. The depth wasn't there. They had, Barrow and is it Simmons? It was Harmon, excuse me. No,
Harmon, yeah.
All right, yeah. So those are guys, they're really good. They left for greener pastures. And that's the name of the game right now. And it's hard to get these people through the transfer portal, like real big difference makers. You're going to pay big dough. And I don't think Michigan State's in that realm yet of paying big dough for transfers. And so,
I know this is something we talked about. Yeah, this is something we talked about before we started recording. After the game, is the NIL program that MSU has, because it is interesting how under Tucker there was, before he went off to do his ridiculousness, there was some NIL program at least in place with Spartan Dogs for Life, and I don't know, whatever after that.
We don't say those words anymore.
But the way that those programs just like overnight just kind of flew under the radar and out of existence.
There's things that happen. I mean, the podcast has covered it, about what happened with, SD Pharrell, and kind of how things were going crazy with at the Mel Tucker leaves. They kind of do some things that kind of pull some money back, and people are mad about it, rightfully so. It's just not a good look, and you have to move on. And I know they have established a new Spartan NIL program. It's just kind of getting underway. I, they have ones you can donate as fans. I think it's a donation. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
$18.55, and you can donate to that to help out the program. So those are things that are available. But I don't. No one really knows or is talking about like what is Michigan State doing with NIL. And I
Right.
know some people are getting paid, and I've heard the whispers, and that's all well and good, but it needs to be more established. Or if you're not going to establish NIL to get the portal people or to keep your guys, you're going to have to start blazing on the recruiting scale. And that's something that we haven't seen. And to the point of it's not something that I'm super concerned about as of right now, because it's all right. It's Smith's first class, getting acclimated. I can be even killed and accept that. But it's something I'm keeping my eye on because right
Mm-hmm.
now I think Michigan State is currently like ranked in the 50s in recruiting.
Oh.
Uh, so that's not good enough for Michigan State, a program that is top 25 in revenue, top 25 in attendance, and all those other whatever acolytes. If we're not pulling in top 25, top 40 at minimum recruiting class, okay, well then your development better be on point. We better start seeing these guys that no one else was looking at really start popping, and it can happen. Now I'm not saying it can't, but it's just it hasn't been the formula we've seen work. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have the talent and you have to have the coaching because if you don't got the balance of the two, you're not going to win anywhere you're at. So we will see.
Well, I guess the moral of the story is we need the the Matt Ishbias of the world and Dan Gilberts and the Eli Broads and all
Had
those
they might
billionaires.
already be doing it. It's just saying like what's the incentive to do this besides you love your Michigan State? It's a tough ask to keep asking people for money. But hey, we're not building a building. We're just keeping this guy who's I don't know. So they're gonna. I know NIL is getting changed again. Some things are going to be filtered through the university. But we'll see. We'll see what the plan is. If there's a plan, I hope there's a plan. There better be a plan.
Well, I will say this just on a local alumni level, the amount of phone calls I still get from Michigan State asking for donations, I'm quite sure at the level of the Dan Gilberts and the Ishbias of the world with, the president and people of, the board or whoever, ask them for money. If, they can
It's
have someone
singing on
calling
bended
me
knee.
and they have someone calling me at least once a week talking about, hey, can you donate $5, $10? I'm sure at that level,
Yeah, you are correct. I feel you. Okay.
because much as I love MSU, they don't mind calling you to say, hey, can you drop $1 in the bucket? But at any rate, what other good Sparty stuff is there? Or we've covered it all because I guess
No
it really wasn't that
turnovers
much.
besides turnover on
Yeah,
downs. We almost
yeah.
had a fumble return for a touchdown, but Aiden was down, so that was good. I don't remember there being any crazy like what are you doing type passes either. Nothing that sticks out
No,
on
there
my that
wasn't.
should have been it should be intercepted. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was just demoralizing, like you said. The three and outs and the lack of the protection, the lack of the running game. So another tough day at the office for the Spartans. So like I said, now we got 2 games left. I guess the good news is both games were at home because MSU hasn't had like back-to-back home games this whole season. It was like home away,
No,
home away, home away, home away. So I guess having those final 2 games at home should help. One other thing too, I don't know if I guess this may be more, I don't know, good or I mean, depending on how you look at it schedule wise. This is the first season because they already announced that the last game, Rutgers, that's going to be a 3:30 kickoff. And for some strange reason, this upcoming game against Purdue is like a night game.
Yeah, another
So
night game versus Purdue.
yeah, and it's on Friday.
It's Friday night. That's why. Okay,
Friday night game. But MSU has had no noon games this entire season.
that's crazy. I know. Ohio State have been complaining. They've all they played in is basically noon games.
Yeah.
Like State, that's crazy. That have 1:12 p.m. game.
Yep.
That's
0.
that's when you sell yourselves to the networks. They decide, and that's what we get.
Yep. Yep. So we'll keep it moving. Since our buddy Quaffo, the Super Connected Spartan, is not here this evening, there's no word on the street to talk about. I mean, other than we took another
We
L.
hope the team is not demoralized. We hope they can keep getting up and fighting for that bowl eligibility because it means something. It's something to fight for. And
it does.
I was thinking about this, and then we'll move on. We have Purdue next. It's imperative that we beat Purdue, right? Because if you don't beat Purdue, there's going to be no one that's going to come to that last game. It's going to be empty.
Right.
Now, I think Spartan Nation will show up to see if we can go bowl eligible and then root the team on, because I think that's what everybody. If most predictions are 6-6 or 7-5, so we're still that's still in the realm of possibility. I'm fairly certain we can beat Purdue, but I don't know with our offense. I don't know. The defense, it's going to be what it is. We're beat up. Can't expect them to keep going 3 and out. The game is going to have to be won by the offense.
Yeah, and Purdue just got worked by Penn State last week at home. So
Purdue was going through some things. We've been there, so I don't want to talk too much junk anymore about schools when you've been the beaten, when we've been so down. Like
the whipping
we're
boy
in line for our third straight 5-win season. That's just
yeah.
No buzz. There's no goodwill. They start when you win these 2 last games. The hope comes back. Keep hope alive.
Yeah. Now we should beat Purdue. I mean, even if
it's yes. But will we?
16-13. Some
win 2-0. Like I don't care. They can win. We can lose too. That's what I'm saying. It's not a layup.
Oh yeah,
it's not a gimme. It's not a hey, we're gonna walk in there and we're gonna win these 2 last games. Like, no, Illinois was a good indication. We will see what we got versus. I'm not so much crazy about Purdue. It's more so the Rutgers game. That's the game that's really like, okay, that's going to be a dogfight. Especially if I don't know if they are already bowl eligible or not, but if they could get 7 games, they're going to fight for it.
I think they might be, because I believe they beat Maryland this past weekend. So I think they may be at 6-4. But
yeah, I think you're right.
And I know our next game is Purdue, but yeah, with Rutgers, these past
if they're 6-4,
years,
so they're already bowl eligible.
Yeah, these past, I'll say 2-3 years, even playing Rutgers has not been a give me, because we've taken some L's against Rutgers. I'll say even going back to Mel Tucker's first year in the pandemic.
Yes, that
was the very first game. We got whooped. So it's
I want to say like 1-2 versus the last few times we played Rutgers. So
yeah. So
not a gimme.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll try to keep hope alive.
That's all we can do. I know it seems grim, but we're in this situation. We're, critical mass. We might not make it.
Right. We might not make it. Before I move on to the fun fact, I'm gonna give a shout out to MSU Hoops because they started their season recently. I know they took that L to Kansas and they
They were flirting
beat
with the
Bowling
L.
Green. It was
They were flirting with the L.
close. It was close against Bowling Green, but they did get it was a scare, but they did get that W against Bowling Green. But yeah, MSU Hoops is kind of under the critical light too this early season.
A lot of
Some heat
articles
is on
coming
them
out.
too.
Get them out of here. No more Champions Classic. You're not champions. Like, ooh, well,
Yeah.
well. I can see your point. I understand the argument. It's hurtful, but if it was not my fan, if I wasn't a fan of Michigan State, I could definitely see me saying like, "Yo, but what these guys keep playing? They keep losing."
Yeah.
But they fought hard. It was a close game. It was closer than I thought it was going to be. Many points I thought they're going to pull it out. Just we're going to sidetrack the hoops. They need to find that guy. They need to find like who's going to be the guy, who's going to be the scorer. I know they hope it's Akins. We see him trying to take the steps. So hopefully it's early games. He builds that confidence and he can be because you can see the talent there. I think he can be a primary scorer. It's just does he unleash that one day consistently? So
Right.
we'll see.
Right. We'll see. And both the hockey team's doing good. I see them on online. They've been putting in some work. Shout out to MSU hockey. I think they recently beat up on Notre Dame.
Yeah, they're
and
like 8-3.
Women's soccer team
them.
continues. Yeah, the women's soccer team continues to do their thing too. So hey, keep
Shout
the
out
good
to
shit.
the
We
other
giving
sports.
everybody love. Right.
Hey, it's Spartans through and through.
Hey, yes. So, all right, let's get to this fun football fact here. Actually, this is not about football. This is just about the university in general.
Okay.
So this is an interesting fact that I found earlier today about Michigan State. So since you're the lone contestant here, Mr. Supermad Spartan, you get a couple of chances here to see if you can guess this.
Okay.
Guess the answer. All right. So when did Michigan State University become the name Michigan State University? You got 3 guesses. 1925, 1955, or 1964. You want to hear the Jeopardy theme song?
I'm going to go with the first one. I'm going with A.
And the answer is Whoa. The answer is 1964.
I thought it was before that. Okay.
So, yeah, so shout out to Google.
Michigan Agricultural College, MAC.
So, in 1925, MSU was named the Michigan State College of Agriculture and Applied Sciences. Then in 1955, 30 years after that, it was called Michigan State University of Agriculture and Applied Sciences. Then in 1964, they just became Michigan State University.
Okay.
So that was a very interesting fact that within the past 60 years that Michigan State University was just called MSU compared to prior to that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was prior to, I was way earlier than that. But okay, it's a good fun fact. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, I know when MSU was first founded in the mid 1800s, I think it was 1855, it was like Michigan Agricultural College.
Yes.
But the fact that within the past but 60 years, MSU has been known as MSU. I was like, wow, that is a very interesting fact about the alma mater. So, yes. See, not only dropping sports knowledge, we're dropping this history about the university itself. See, now do we entertain our listeners and viewers? We educate them too on the green and white. What can we say?
Well, thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah. So, anything else for the last of the cards here, sir? Super
Keep
Mad
hope
Spartan.
alive. There, that's all we have. That's all we can,
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive indeed. Well, all right. It's another episode here in the books. Cue the Woodshed. Check us out on YouTube and Spotify and Instagram, Amazon Prime. We're just everywhere. So hit that subscribe button. Check us out. You know, we're here to entertain everybody here. We do have another Classic Spartan Series episode coming up. This is going to be a good one. We're going to be interviewing the CEO of MSU Federal Credit Union, April Clovis. So that's going to be a very fun one there for our next Classic Spartan Series. So we're just continuing to bring that heat for you guys as fans, alums, the whole Spartan Nation. So we're just going to keep it moving for y'all. Keep it moving on the entertainment tip. So, anything else you want to add, Mr. Super Mad Spartan?
Wrap it up.
All right, on that note, I am Ken, the super cool Spartan, my brother Brian, the super mad Spartan, our super connected Spartan, Mr. Quaff will be back with us next week. So, go green.
Go white.
We out.